Okay, let's start. Hello, everyone, again. Thank you a lot for joining. Thank you for taking your time out of your, I'm sure, busy days to listen to our event. A couple of admin points to start with. Our event is not going to last more than 30 minutes. We will be taking questions through the event. Please post them in the chat. We will answer your questions at the end of the event, if there are any. The event will be recorded, so if you don't want to be recorded, please stay on mute or leave the event. If you're interested in the recording, please send us a message. We will share a link. You can listen to it if you wish, or even share with your colleagues. Okay, so let's start with a short introduction. I'm here with my co-founder, Yaroslav, who is a Chief Product Officer at NeuCurrent. And today we're going to have a conversation about how we use AI at NeuCurrent to create optimal customer retention strategies for retailers. So I'll start with myself, Yaroslav, introduction. So I'm Bogdan Shkarupa, CEO at NeuCurrent. By background, I'm a former investment banker. I worked for one of the leading investment banks in London for a number of years. But for the last 8 years, I worked with data, and specifically applications of the data for psychology and marketing. I co-founded my first company, DataSign, in 2015. We analyzed financial data to create psychological profiles of people or of customers, consumers, and that profiling was used for marketing communications. DataSign was acquired by Shutterstock, and then I co-founded with Yaroslav NeuCurrent. And at NeuCurrent, we have quite a big mission, and that is to make data technologies accessible for people and organizations who do not have data expertise. Okay, Yaroslav, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Hello, everyone. My name is Yaroslav, and I am head of product at NeuCurrent. My background is in data and software development. I have 8 years experience in working with data for marketing applications, both in retail and financial sector. And today I would be glad to explain how we are using data and AI to build an effective data-driven customer retention in retail.
Okay, I will just add to it because I know Yaroslav normally comes across as a bit modest. So Yaroslav studied AI in Holland and Ukraine, and he is also absolute champion of IBM competition in Ukraine. Okay, so what we do in NeuCurrent. At NeuCurrent, we work with retailers, and we help retailers to implement data-driven customer retention. And specifically, we are interested to work with retailers who do not have data expertise. Because at NeuCurrent, we develop a platform which fully automates customer retention process from start to the end. So we now work with clients in the Baltic countries, Western Europe, Ukraine, because we are both Ukrainians, and now in the UK. And the reason why, by being so young as a company, we are able to work with customers in many countries because we bring real benefits to retailers. We increase lifetime value of retail customers by 6%, and we increase revenue from direct communication 30% year on year. Okay, so that's us. Enough with introductions. So let's start our conversation, Yaroslav. I actually want to start kind of a bit from afar, not jump into AI straight away. How actually retailers even know that they have customer retention issue or problem in the first place?
Well, there is a typical scenario which we found in many of our clients when they come to us. they see that they have some sort of a problem in revenue, but usually it comes from financial reports, or they just see that their quarterly sales decrease, and they usually struggle to connect these financial metrics with actual retention metrics of their customers.
Okay, so I kind of can visualize the situation straight away. You know, I see some numbers. I don't know whether it's overall numbers or I don't know, numbers from direct communications to the customers. They drop. What do I do? So I know there is a big problem. What is the solution?
So in NeuCurrent, the solution which we offer is to analyze whole customer retention flow using our customer retention framework. We automatically measure such retention metrics as moving to the second order, customer frequency, churn rate. We measure this metric automatically and link them directly to the revenue. And by analyzing these metrics, we are able to flag any issues in the whole retention process. We classify these issues into critical problems, risks, and opportunities. And we always suggest retailers to basically start with the critical problems, because that's the problems that influence their revenue at most.
Okay, so I understand, you know, we have our framework. No, it's based on customer life journey. Give me maybe one kind of obvious example when things can go bad and we identified a metric which basically says this is where the problem is.
Well, the obvious one is, for example, purchase frequency. We could identify automatically that the purchase frequency of the customers drops significantly comparing, for example, to previous year, or maybe the growth trend decreases.
Okay. So for example, purchase frequency, I have a problem now. Is it enough for me to act on this problem, or what do I do?
So by identifying the issue, it's a good way to start your journey, but that's far from enough. So to actually act on it, you need to understand where exactly this issue is happening. To identify which customer segment is most severely influenced by this issue. And how NeuCurrent helps is by automatically segmenting customers and suggesting segments which most significantly influence the decrease in metric. For example, let's go back to our example with purchase frequency. We could automatically detect that there is a high value customer segment with high average order value, but they started to purchase less frequently. And we are able to suggest our user. So by the way, the typical user of our platform is a CRM manager in a retail application, in a retail, either online or omnichannel retail. And he is able to see this segment and start acting on it.
Okay, so let me just summarize. So we have metrics quite detailed. You know, we identify purchase frequency as a problem. We identify, say, low value customers as a segment, and the platform does it all automatically. So identify customer segments as well. So we understand the problem in quite detail. You know, I'm a customer retention manager, you know, without data expertise. What do I need to do? Where the ideas come from? How can I solve now this specific problem?
That's one of other features that NeuCurrent platforms helps you with. We have an extensive library of customer. We have an extensive library of customer engagement strategies, and we suggest what strategies could potentially solve specific retention problem. So we shortlist couple of strategies. We adapted to the needs of the retailer based on the, for example, number of clients in a segment, the activity over the communication channels. For example, if it's a segment with high email usage, the strategies will be shifted more towards engaging clients over email, or maybe there is a segment with a lot of phone numbers, but only few emails. Then the strategies will be more shifted towards SMS communications. We're also able to suggest like promotional values, for example, the amount of discounts that could be suggested to this specific segment. And we constantly update our library of suggestions by adding new ones and improving the existing ones.
Can we? It's a audio call, so but I won't try to sort of help people to visualize it. Can we maybe talk a little bit about the type of strategies we have? So what sort of types are there in the platform?
So we classify our strategies into 3 different types, like content, discount, and loyalty. Content is mostly regarding to delivering personalized content to the customers. For example, personalized recommendations like next possible offer, cross-sell, or just some personalized content. Discounts are related to using discount mechanics such as promo codes, and loyalty is strategies that connected with your loyalty program. For example, if you have a point-based loyalty program, it could be strategies with giving additional points if customer achieves some activity with his purchases.
Okay, so good. So again, we have problem, we have segment, we have a library of strategies. We haven't talked about AI yet. So I want to start talking about AI. I'm sure people are waiting for that. So my first question is, we've created a library, which seems, a very good approach, but it's a library. Why wouldn't we use ChatGPT, some other generative AI tool, to produce those strategies? Do it that way.
Yeah. So we actually tried it when we were researching approaches for our library. It was the ChatGPT was just released, and also the generative AI was around for a while before ChatGPT, and we tried that approaches. But the problem that we found using that approaches is that strategies became too generic, and they still need to be adapted to the specific needs of each individual retailer. And that's actually the most difficult part, because just to get some ideas about strategies, you don't need generative AI, you can just Google them. But the most difficult part is actually to adapt it to your specific needs. And that's the main value and the most difficult part of using generating retention strategies.
Okay. So which brings us, I suppose, to where we use AI. Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about that? So how do we use it? What's the purpose?
So the main AI approach that we use for optimizing retention is connected with using reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is a subfield of AI which enables to build a self-learning agents which conducts some behavior and then optimizes the future steps based on the prior actions. So how do we actually use this approach? We start by delivering different customer engagement strategies to clients. The platform automatically observes the performance of using these strategies. We observe performance in terms of revenue, conversion rates, average order value. Very important to observe in terms of profitability, because to avoid such mistakes as delivering some discounts, which leads to a high average order value, but with a discount, you basically could lose all of your profitability. So our algorithms takes into account all such aspects, and they continuously learn based on like prior performance to deliver the most optimal customer engagement strategy to each individual client.
Okay, so sounds cool. I know that there is also one preliminary step, maybe not as complicated as reinforcement learning. Can we just briefly talk about it, just kind of to demonstrate to people that it's quite a complicated sort of process of getting it right?
Yeah, sure. Before actually starting with reinforcement learning, there is a step which we call an experiment. An experiment serves two goals. First of all, it allows to shortlist the strategies which could potentially work for this segment, and then to have an initial clean data set to pre-train our agent. So to do that, we use a couple of simple statistics to determine the effectiveness of the of different strategies, and to observe that there is real statistically significant impact on each customer segment.
Okay, so I'm much less technical than Yaroslav is. So in my mind, it's basically two steps. One is to select strategies for customer segment, so let's say 3 or 4, and then we use reinforced learning really to select each customer strategy for each retail customer. So kind of in my very simplistic way sort of explaining it. Okay, so great. So we can do a lot of stuff, but each kind of stage of our process involves a lot of data. So I kind of want, it's all based on data. I want to talk about challenges of us, apart from kind of obviously statistical and technical challenges. What is the main challenge for us, to produce those results?
So the main challenge is, as you mentioned, data. As with any AI product, the clean data means the best results. So you can't have any fancy AI if you have if your data is bad. So the issues that could influence the results is like duplicates in the data, lacking parts of the data. The data is not coming as frequently as required. So there is like basically a whole bunch of issues that could influence effectiveness of AI optimization if they are not treated well at the very foundation, at the data collection. And just to mention, NeuCurrent as a platform also helps you to collect all the necessary data you would require to optimize your customer retention strategies.
Yeah, okay. So when we kind of explain all of that, normally the next question from retailers would be, okay, guys, what do you do with the data? What type of data do you collect? How do you clean it? How long does it take? That's probably one of the main questions as well. Can we kind of talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. That's as you mentioned, indeed, one of the first questions the potential customers ask us. And to do integration usually takes from 2 to 4 weeks, and it requires collecting the two main data sources. First of all is transactional data, which means purchases over all touch points. It could be a mobile app, website, brick and mortar stores. So all this data is collected in one data warehouse. We prefer to use BigQuery for that. The second data source is behavioral data. So we collect the behavioral data from the customer activities on the website, in mobile app, and merge this data with purchases that we collected on the previous step. And the third part is actually communication data. So we need to understand feedback from customers on the communications we deliver to them. And usually we don't need this data in advance. We start sending the communications to the clients, and then we are able to collect this data by ourselves, by basically moving forward with using our platform. And to help with possible issues with the data, to have it clean, there are 3 steps that NeuCurrent helps retailers with. First of all, it's data governance. So each data point that we collect should satisfy a data schema. So we won't let any data point or event, how we called it internally, into our platform if it's not satisfied by one of the preset schemas. Second step is data duplication. So if there is 2 completely similar events that delivered to our platform, the second and the further ones will be discarded to preserve the only original data points. And the third one is data mapping. As I think all marketing people in retail know, there are a lot of systems that interact with customers, and all this system has different customer attributes. And what we do is by merging these customer attributes, we are able to create a single customer profile in our platform. And basically the last step in the data that we store all this data in data warehouse. And as mentioned before, we prefer to use BigQuery as our main data warehouse.
Yeah, and I want to add to it that currently it takes us from 2 to 4 weeks to integrate with a retailer, but we are aiming for 1 day, and we think it's realistic with the approach which we are using. Okay, so I don't see any questions in the chat, but if you do have questions, please send those. So I want to finish kind of maybe reiterating where we started. Our real goal is to help retailers without data expertise use data technologies which are used by people like Amazon. We do bring real benefits. I've already said about increasing LTV by 6%, increasing revenue from direct communication year on year by 30%. I think more importantly, we will do it without major changes to the organization. So retailers do not need to hire expensive data scientists or marketeers. It can be run by a typical CRM manager. And we also don't change IT infrastructure, technology infrastructure retailers have. We just use what they have. We collect it, match it, create this single customer profile, which we mentioned, and then we just go with that. So that's real benefits. So I think that's what we want to say today. We will be running more events with the slides, which we will be very happy to share. So please join us for future events. If you do want to get recording, please contact us. We're also very happy to answer any questions you have. Send them over. We are just very happy to jump on the call and talk. Again, thank you so much. Have a nice rest of the day, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.